New week, fresh energy on a Monday. Time to get that Alabama football news off Mother's Day weekend. You are rocking and rolling right now with the number one forum for Crimson Tide football. In my own words, yours truly, the hype man for the Crimson Tide conversation, Stephen M. Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine, bringing you the show from the magic city of Birmingham, streaming this to you on YouTube. Speaking of the channel, go ahead right now, give a thumbs up on the show, like the show, hit that subscribe button, turn all of those notifications on so that way you can be made aware of all the news, notes, alerts, analysis, and conversation on your Crimson Tide. Not only are we streaming this through YouTube, but we also got you covered on Facebook and Twitter as well. All forms of social media having you locked and loaded on your favorite program. So no excuse whatsoever for you not to be tuning in to the hottest ticket here when we talk your Crimson Tide. And there's a lot of things, guys, that we're discussing about, that we're talking about on today as the rich got richer. Nick Saban doing it again. The Crimson Tide pulling the most coveted linebacker from the transfer portal in one, Henry To'oTo'o from Tennessee. Saban scouted him out highly in the 2019 recruiting cycle. The young man chose to go to the Volunteers, but now back with the Crimson Tide, made it known over the weekend. So we're going to spend a great deal of time discussing what does this mean for Alabama, especially on defense. How will this young man gel with Christian Harris and Jalen Moody? And in the big news, Pete Golding recruited To'oTo'o. I mean, contrary to popular belief, Pete Golding, big-time recruiter. What does this mean for him? The addition of a talented inside linebacker, how will it help him grow as a defensive play caller? Gotta give a shout out to my man John Ivory in the building, handling the ones and twos in the production studio, as well as keeping me in line here on the show. But we want to hear from you, the Alabama football fans. 205-448-1358. That is the number to call tonight to let your voice be heard on the show. 205-448-1358. And one more time, 205-448-1358. Got to hear from you. But we jump into now topic number one of the conversation this evening, and it goes to just how big this is for the Crimson Tide defensively for head coach Nick Saban, bringing in one Henry To'oTo'o out of the transfer portal from Tennessee to the Crimson Tide, and the young man entering his junior year after spending 2 seasons at the University of Tennessee with the Volunteers at 6'2", 225 pounds, out of Sacramento, California, 4-star in the 2019 class. And as I've mentioned before, this was somebody that Coach Saban was very high on in the 2019 cycle. Wanted To'oTo'o, went after him, pursued him, recruited him, offered him, but he chose to go to the Tennessee Volunteers, and much of that was due to the fact that at that time, 2018, 2019, this was when Alabama had the major coaching turnover, having a lot of coaches leave. And when coaches leave, you have players that are very close to those assistants on staff. To'oTo'o was close to one, Jeremy Pruitt, so he chose to take his talents there to Rocky Top in Knoxville. But back here with the Crimson Tide, and what's major is Saban gets somebody that he's always wanted back with huge experience in the Southeastern Conference. We're talking about 23 games he's played in a major Division I college football program, including 22 starts, so a whole bunch of production here. I know a lot of people have said this is a bad move. Don't like this move. He only had 3 tackles in his career against Alabama. Show me the one major defensive player. Show me one singular defensive player that has had an immaculate, dominant performance against the Alabama offenses that are being ran right now. I'll wait. You know why? You know why? There aren't any. You can't name one. So that stat right there of him just having 3 tackles, an irrelevant stat. Nick Saban when Coach Saban makes his moves to go after transfers in the portal, he does this by three aspects. There are three things Coach Saban looks at. There are three reasons Coach Saban looks at if he's trying to bring a transfer into the Crimson Tide. And of the three reasons, reason number one, he thinks about, is this guy fit for our program? Does this guy fit our program? Does he hit on needs? Is this guy, worthy enough to come in here to Alabama and make a huge impact? And for Toto, he fits the Crimson Tide. He fits a need. Alabama no longer with Dylan Moses as he's now with the Jacksonville Jaguars, signed the undrafted free agent deal. Toto fits a need in terms of he brings in major experience as a starter for coming over from Tennessee, joining Alabama, but not just major experience as a starter, major experience as a playmaker. Here's a guy that can go sideline to sideline, tear up the field, stick his nose in, make tackles, shoot gaps, a guy that can set that defense in motion and make plays upon having that defense set in motion, along with just him being a fit or his experience and playmaking abilities are concerned. The number two thing Saban looks for is this guy productive? What's his production like? What are his numbers like? Is he able to get on that field and create huge plays, huge value for himself on the field? Toto, wildly productive, massively productive. One of the more big-time production linebackers coming out of the SEC the last 2 years. Here's a brother, 148 tackles, 15 tackles for loss, 5 quarterback hurries, 4 pass breakups, and 1 interception. During his 2 seasons for the Volunteers, he was either the team leader for total tackles, or he was second on the team in that aspect. This past season, 2020, Toto, 76 tackles led the team, 10 tackles for loss led the team, was just all over the field. He was a brother as a freshman All-SEC, freshman All-American, and then also 2020, he was a preseason candidate for the Chuck Bednarik Award, the Bronco Nagurski Award, and the Dick Butkus Award. You mean to tell me you're just going to let that type of talent just sit there? Nick Saban does not let that type of talent just sit there. This is the same Coach Saban. In the recruiting aspect, he already had 6 running backs on the roster. He didn't need to get a Kamar Wheaton, but he just looks and goes, we can't let Kamar Wheaton just sit there. Look at all that talent. Look at all that ability. Look at all that playmaking prowess. We cannot just sit there and not take the guy. So Coach Saban sat there and took the guy in this past recruiting cycle. So the same thing here with Toto. You're looking at the most coveted, the most big, natural playmaking linebacker in the portal. This was somebody Saban has always wanted from the jump, from the get-go, and now he gets somebody that he's always wanted back, but now he's got him back as a experienced, big play, big ability linebacker at that position. And then last but not least, the one thing Nick Saban looks for, is this player a high character guy? Is he a high quality guy? Can he come in and have that leadership and have that chemistry and have that continuity and kind of fuse the team together, so to speak? And when you look at Toto, a Samoan of Polynesian culture, of Samoan culture, Samoan descent, and the last Samoan, the last Polynesian Alabama had in here, Tua Tagovailoa, it was a great thing. It was a big deal. Tua brought everybody together. His vibe, his character, his personality, it just made everybody around him better. It made everybody appreciate everybody. It even made Nick Saban kind of take a step back and appreciate things more. And we saw what Tua did on the field throughout his career at the University of Alabama as far as a quarterback is concerned. So you get a guy in Toto, that same mindset, that same personality, that same hard work, that same mentality, but that same guy that's going to come in here and bring everybody together in terms of the Alabama football defense. This is huge here for Coach Saban. This is huge for the University of Alabama. And what was crazy was when To'oto made his decision over the weekend, you had the Alabama fans, you guys, overjoyed, jubilant, rejoicing. But then you had the rival fan bases, Tennessee, LSU, Georgia, those guys going, oh my gosh, really? Saban's got to be cheating. He's cheating. There's no way this guy just willingly came to Alabama. Where's the car? Where's the Dodge Charger? Where's the new house? I know Saban paid for his grandmother's mortgage. I know Saban paid for his father's home. Like, where are the bank statements? Saban could not just brought this guy in cleanly. There's no way. When is the NCAA going to start digging in here on Coach Saban at Alabama? Coach Saban tried to warn the people. He sat there and said, if you make this about the transfer portal, if you make this about college football free agents, it's not going to end good for you because the rich are only going to get richer. The people out there thought, well, the transfer portal will be a good thing. Why? Because it will level the playing field. Alabama, Nick Saban will not have all the dominance. They'll lose players too. The thing has been, Bama has lost players, but it hasn't been the marquee leaders. It hasn't been the leaders, the talented guys, the All-Americans. It hasn't been those types of players versus other programs. They have lost those types of players and have lost them to who? Coach Saban and the Crimson Tide. This is unbelievable. After getting a major offensive piece at wide receiver in Jamison Williams out of Ohio State, Alabama follows it up with getting the biggest linebacker out of the transfer portal in one Henry To'oto out of Tennessee. Coach Saban continues to get it done. But we take our first break here on the show. Don't touch that dial. We're just getting started. Upon our return, we go to your phone calls, your thoughts, your texts, your chats, your tweets, your super chats. We get to you, the Bama Nation, after this.
You're watching In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith, brought to you by We Own the Fourth Quarter. Get your four-finger bling necklace today by visiting weownthefourthquarter.com. Throw them foes up. Every sports fan deserves the proper representation. Whitwell Sports introduces to you the Title Towel. Wave that Title Towel in the air like you just don't care in support of Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide. Only $9.99 and it lasts a lifetime. Head on over to whitwellsports.com and get your Title Towel today.
Remember the taste of Grandma's delicious sweets? Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes brings back those precious memories with just one bite. Each cake made from scratch. They make the perfect dessert to share with family and friends for any occasion, and ordering is easy. Visit emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Click the online store and shop. Then pick up your fresh cake at the kitchen in downtown Homewood. Order yours online at emily'sheirloompoundcakes.com. Emily's Heirloom Pound Cakes, making memories from scratch.
We are back into the action here, folks, from the break on a Monday. Hottest show on the streets. Number one forum for Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. The Crimson Tide getting the most coveted linebacker out of a transfer portal, one Henry To'oto. Over the weekend, people really, Bama fans, really excited about this one. And we go to the call lines right now, the phone lines to take your segment. Take your calls. Call segment brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang, 205-448-1358. That is the number to let your voice be heard right now on the show, 205-448-1358. And one more time, 205-448-1358. We take our first call of the evening. You are live on the show. What's going on?
Hey, what's going on, Stephen M?
What's happening with you?
Hey, it's Robert from Mobile. Hey, once again, Nick Saban is showing why he's the GOAT and why no one's going to come close to him when it comes to being the GOAT. I mean, the man he never stops. It's stuff like, people ask, when are you going to retire and when are you going to give it up? And well, don't you like a challenge? And Nick Saban correctly said, hey, every year is a challenge. Every year. I get a new class every year to train bring up. There's something you don't get in the NFL with that much turnover and that much chances to teach every year. So there's your challenge for Nick Saban, and reason why he doesn't retire, because it is always a challenge. To stay on top is the ultimate challenge, really. And it's harder. It's harder to stay on top than it is to get to the top. When you're trying to get to the top, you're still hungry. Everybody's hungry. When you're full and you've been up there a while, staying up there is the problem. Keeping the apathy monster from taking over your program. That's your challenge, and that's what gets him every time. That's what he wants to stay on top. And for Toa, I've watched his highlights since this announcement came from over the weekend, and the guy has a high motor. When you watch his plays, he has a high, the old high motor saying that they say, that's what he has, a high motor. That's something that's been lacking from Alabama linebacking for several years now. It's someone with a high motor constantly in every play, even when the play's away from him. The guy manages to get back over there near the play all the time, and that's what's kind of been lacking a bit. I knew we were going to probably get it with Christian Harris coming up, but now with Toa and Christian Harris, I really believe Alabama only struggled in 2 games last year. Really, that was somewhat in doubt, and that was Ole Miss and Florida. In the fourth quarter, there was a tint of doubt in that game. With 5 minutes left, I still didn't feel relaxed that we were winning. I believe if Toa had been one of the linebackers in that game, instead of Ole Miss getting 48 points, I think they might have only gotten 38 points. And I think if instead of Florida getting 46 points, I think Toa could have turned that game into Florida only getting 36 points and Alabama cruising to victory. That's from looking at his play. That's the kind of high motor he brings to the table. So it's going to be fun to watch. And again, Nick Saban, like you said, Nick Saban kept telling people, "Hey, this is what you want football to be. Do you want to go this route with the RPO and with linemen going downfield? Do you want to go this route with the transfer portal? Okay, you said that's where you want to go. Now I'm going to beat you over the head with it." And that's what he's doing. That's why he's the GOAT.
Absolutely. Appreciate that call. They come from Robert from Mobile, starting us off here on a Monday. As you guys continue to get your thoughts in, 205-448-1358. That is the number to call in to get your voice be heard. Alabama bringing in the linebacker, Henry To'o from the transfer portal, 205-448-1358. Cool little topic right here. And it goes to, DK Metcalf, the former Ole Miss wide receiver who's now going into his 3rd year with the Seattle Seahawks, freak of nature dude at 6'3", 230 pounds, ran a 4.33 in the 2019 NFL Combine. So he participates in the USA Track Olympic Team tryout. So he tries out, he runs 2 heats in the 100-meter dash, and despite the fact that this brother doesn't train for track, he's all football, he put in a respectable time of 10.36 seconds in the 100-meter dash. That's just crazy. So from watching that and seeing that, the idea becomes, should Henry Ruggs, former Bama wide receiver, should Henry Ruggs at some point consider trying out for the Olympics? Ruggs is smaller than Metcalf at 5'11", 188 pounds. Ruggs set the Alabama High School Athletics Association state record in Class 7A for the 100-meter dash, running it at 10.58 seconds. And then his speed at Alabama became legendary. The Alabama catapult system, Ruggs put in some of the fastest times in that catapult system. And of course, he's now with the Las Vegas Raiders in the NFL. So the thought being is, at some point, should Henry Ruggs consider trying out for the Olympic team? I mean, he's in the same just about speed class as the fastest man alive at that time, that being one of Usain Bolt. So, Bama Nation, I'm going to leave this on you. Should Henry Ruggs at some point compete in an Olympic tryout? But as we ponder on that, we're going to take a break right now on the show, but don't touch that dial. Still getting started here. Upon our return, we dive into how will Henry To'o mesh? How will this young man mesh with Christian Harris and Jalen Moody in that inside linebacker room? We'll talk that up after this.
You know what we do at the start of the fourth quarter. We throw them foes up. But now you don't have to wait until the fourth quarter. Get your 4-finger bling necklace at weownthefourthquarter.com. It's the first and only logo that captures the essence of all Crimson Tide players and fans as we represent the legendary Alabama football fourth quarter dominance. Get your 4-finger bling necklace right now at weownthefourthquarter.com. Get yours today and stun on them haters. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide.
We're rocking and rolling here, folks, from the break of a number one ticket for Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. As always, Tide Nation, that daily super chat goes. $75 daily super chat go. Appreciate you guys for showing us the love, the support that you guys continue to do. But we jump into now. Topic number 2 right here. So Alabama has Henry To'oTo'o in. We're all happy, excited, jumping up and down. But here's the big question. How will this young man mesh with Christian Harris and Jalen Moody? Because Alabama's already got some inside linebackers on the team, on the roster already. So upon the information coming out over the weekend, To'oTo'o puts the tweet out, thank you, Lord, coming to Alabama with the Crimson Tide jersey on. I mean, you guys went crazy. It was, oh my gosh, we going to have To'oTo'o and Christian Harris. Man, this linebacker room is giving me Reuben Foster, Rashawn Evans vibe. So everybody right now talking about To'oTo'o, Harris, these two studs, going to be big factor right here. And Christian Harris, we know what he is. His 2 years so far for the Crimson Tide, coming out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana, in the 2019 class. 26 career games he's played in, 25 starts, 142 tackles, 14 and a half of those for loss, 4.5 sacks, 11 quarterback hurries, 3 pass breakups, 1 interception, 1 forced fumble, one fumble recovery. We know the numbers right there on one Christian Harris. We know the numbers also on one Henry To'oTo'o. But the question becomes here, the big thing here, don't phase out Jalen Moody. That's the big thing. Jalen Moody has huge value. I know a lot of people are saying, well, with To'oTo'o coming in, does that mean we lose Jalen Moody? Does that mean Moody leaves? Does that mean Moody transfers? No. Nick Saban knows the value that Jalen Moody has. This dude brings tremendous value to this team. And you talk about just last season when Harris got hurt against Arkansas. Moody came in, and the young man from South Carolina did his thug thizzle, did his thing. Had a season-high 7 tackles, shared a tackle for loss, had a forced fumble, had a fumble recovery, showed you he can play some big-time football. Had the lateral quickness, stuck his nose in there, made big tackles, made big plays. And upon the season ending, Moody, 18 tackles, 1 forced fumble, 1 fumble recovery. And here's a guy that had a tremendous spring, big spring for Moody. Coach Saban kept talking about it. His growth, his development, his hunger, his passion, his perseverance, his stick-to-itiveness. I mean, he said Moody's the type of guy that has played himself into being a starter at that linebacker role, at that inside linebacker role for the Crimson Tide. You go back and you watch the spring game, he had that first-team defense playing with its hair on fire. I mean, Bryce Young only had 1 touchdown pass in that game, and if not for some miscommunication, that defense probably does not give him or allow him to get that. So Moody has value. Moody has big-time value. So To'oTo'o still has to kind of win this job away from Moody. Now, To'oto, naturally gifted, natural speed, natural talent, natural ability, but Moody's the guy who came into that 2018 class. He has more knowledge of the system. He has more knowledge of what's going on. He has more knowledge of what Pete Golding wants to run up front. So you cannot phase out Moody. You cannot push Moody off to the back burner. This dude has marquee value for this football team. So the question becomes, is with the three here, To'oto, Harris, and Moody, how will Saban, how will Pete Golding interchange these guys? Will it be a situation where Moody starts, early packages, and then To'oto comes in? Or is this a moment where To'oto flat beats Moody and does his thing? You got three really good inside linebackers here. And the question will be, how will Saban, how will Pete Golding interchange these different pieces to get the maximum use, to get the maximum effort of each guy on the field? The actual question becomes Shane Lee. Here's the domino. Here's the actual question, because now Shane Lee has a big decision to make. Does he pursue the transfer portal? I'm not saying he will, but with To'oto in here, that question now has to hit Shane Lee's mind. Oh, snap. What am I going to do? Do I take my ball, go elsewhere, pursue the transfer portal because I do have experience, especially drawing back from my freshman year? Or do I wait this thing out? Because if Christian Harris has a major junior season, you got to think he's going to be a top 5, top 10 draft pick in the 2022 venue, so he's going to go. And with that, and if that happens there, does To'oto decide, hey, I'll stick another year at Alabama, and it becomes To'oto and Shane Lee? So Shane Lee's he's got a decision to make. He's got some thoughts to muddle through. He's got some things to kind of process here. Do I stick around and let this thing play out, or do I bet on myself? Do I bank on myself, knowing the experience that I got as a freshman in 2019, the 86 tackles I got, the 7.5 tackles for loss I got that year, the 4.5 sacks I got that year, being a freshman all-SEC caliber player that I was? Do I bank on myself and go elsewhere, or do I let this thing play out? Do I let this thing ride and maybe see 2022 being my time of getting back onto the field here? But, folks, people are talking about Christian Harris, Henry To'oto, Rashaan Evans, Reuben Foster vibes, big, big, big. Do not phase Jalen Moody out of the room. This brother has marquee, major value where this team is concerned, and he had a big spring, had a massive spring. Showed you last year Christian Harris got hurt, no big deal. I can jump in here and carry the load. Coach Saban, very high on him throughout the entire spring. Teammates have been high on him throughout the entire spring. He's been very confident in himself and the abilities that he can put up there on the field. He has that experience working with Pete Golding. Going to be very, very interesting here as we get into the summer and beyond. But we take another break here on the show, people. Don't touch that dial. When we get back, we go back to the phone lines, taking your calls, engaging your conversations right after this.
Don't touch that dial. Call in right now as we're taking your calls up next on In My Own Words with Stephen M. Smith. Brought to you by We Own the Fourth Quarter. Visit weownthefourthquarter.com now to get your 4-finger bling necklace. You know what we do at the start of the fourth quarter. We throw them foes up. But now you don't have to wait until the fourth quarter. Get your 4-finger bling necklace at weownthefourthquarter.com. It's the first and only logo that captures the essence of all Crimson Tide players and fans as we represent the legendary Alabama football fourth quarter dominance. Get your 4-finger bling necklace right now at weownthefourthquarter.com. Get yours today and stun on them haters. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide. Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
All right, folks, we are back into the action from the break of number one form for Crimson Tide football news on a Monday. Getting that work week started off correctly in my own words. Yours truly, Stephen Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine. We got a couple of super chats to get to right now. So how about Agar Thomas? Agar Thomas, that $25 donation, helping us out here on the show. But right behind him, we got the boy Junior Owens in the building with that $5 donation. So we appreciate Agar Thomas and Junior Owens helping us out here on the show. Remember that daily Super Chat Go, people, $75 daily Super Chat Go. Appreciate the passion, the love, the support coming from you, the Tide Nation, as Bama getting that coveted linebacker out of a transfer portal over the weekend, one Henry To'oTo'o from Tennessee. But as you're getting your calls in, as we're back on you, the call segment brought to you by the Blue Wrench Gang, 205-448-1358. Phone lines open, 205-448-1358. And one more time, 205-448-1358. Want to hear from you as you're getting your thoughts in here. How about a quick topic going to one? JaQuincy Kool-Aid McKinstry right now, the talented five-star freshman from Pinson Valley High School here in the Birmingham area in this recent signing class, an early enrollee. He's doing some things that making you say, whoa, this brother trying to contribute in the upcoming season in that defensive back room after having a fantastic spring and having his head coach Nick Saban talk about him a lot, even to the point where he's yelling at him for walking on the field in the A-Day game. Kool-Aid McKinstry is working with a big-time defensive back trainer, getting the footwork, getting the ball skills, getting the timing, getting everything here in motion right here. So check out the clip here of one Kool-Aid McKinstry putting in that business.
Nice. Go. Yes, sir. Hey, cool. Yes, sir. Then come back with the bacon. Set, go. That is cool. That is cool. Good shit, boy.
Awesome footage there from JaQuincy Kool-Aid McKinstry, the talented freshman for the Crimson Tide, working with a defensive back, developer, trainer, getting the footwork, getting the speed as you're seeing there, getting the timing, the ball skills, everything, hook, line, and center. And I've mentioned this before. This is what Coach Saban is asking himself within this defensive back room. He knows talent is not the issue. Saban's been stockpiling defensive back talent since 2017. But he's wondering, do I have a shutdown, lockdown corner in this group? Do I have somebody that I can trust to put on an island and say, young man, you take that wide receiver and you make him a non-factor? When I look at Kool-Aid McKinstry, he's got that type of ability. Going back to the spring game, there were some interesting battles at the bottom of the screen taking place between Kool-Aid and Ajay Hall, the other talented five-star freshman at wide receiver. There were also some interesting battles taking place between Kool-Aid and one Xavier Williams. So the young man, not afraid of a challenge, not afraid of a battle here. So this is good. But we go to the phone lines here where we grab a call. You're live on the show. What's going on?
Why, say what is your boy Scooby-Loo from the NO, that third war, Magnolia, home of the soldier, you heard me? Just calling in. I seen we got the boy from Tennessee. Hey, I'm fired up, Steven. Loving the show. I already know. Henry talk. Let's go. Roll Tide. You heard me? We out of here, baby.
Appreciate the call right there from my boy from the NO. My boy from the NO to Easy there. Tell Birdman and Wayne what's up, my man. Tell Birdman and Wayne what's up. Appreciate that call right there. Coming in to the show, but just getting back to the topic of just no Kool-Aid. This is big here. Like I said, Saban's looking to see, do we have the lockdown corner? Do we have the shutdown corner? I think McKinstry is that guy, and it's awesome seeing him put in this work here this offseason. But folks, we take another break right here on the show. Don't touch that dial, because upon our return, we're going to talk about how does Toto help the likes of Pete Golding. Pete Golding recruited him. Pete Golding brought him in. So we're going to talk about the addition of the talented linebacker and how does this help Pete Golding go from being a good coordinator to rise into maybe being an elite coordinator. We'll talk about that after this.
If you're an avid Alabama Crimson Tide fan and you love to flaunt it, then show your Alabama Crimson Tide support by grabbing the All-Bama sneakers. They feature bold Crimson Tide graphics, so no one will be able to question where your allegiance lies. When you add these sweet sneakers to your Alabama Crimson Tide collection, go to stsfootwear.com and use the code TDAlabama for $15 off your purchase. That's code TDAlabama for $15 off your purchase. Go to stsfootwear.com and get your All-Bama sneakers today. Touchdown Alabama Magazine is Alabama football's premier publication. A subscription to Touchdown Alabama Magazine is the perfect gift for any Alabama fan. For exclusive news and information, recruiting updates, a free annual print magazine, and more, go to touchdownalabama.com and click join. Only $7.95 per month, or pay $74.95 for a full year subscription. That's a yearly saving of $20. Go to touchdownalabama.com today and roll Tide. Thank you for tuning in. Show your support right now by clicking that like button. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button now and enable all notifications to make sure you don't ever miss any of the best Alabama football news, notes, and information right here on Touchdown Alabama.
All right, folks, we're back in here Monday, rocking and rolling, popping the clutch here with you on the number one forum for Bama football news. In my own words, yours truly, Stephen M. Smith of Touchdown Alabama Magazine, here with you. And before we get into final topic of conversation, got to remind you of TDAwear.com. That is TDAwear.com. So for all of you fans still overjoyed with the Crimson Tide's national championship, we want you to check out our championship collection merch. Now, this means you grab you an 18 of them things, folk, hoodie, t-shirt, or sweatshirt, as well as our Got 18 We Do shirts. Designs that feature all 18 championship years on the back. You head over right now, do it right now, to TDAwear.com. That is TDAwear.com. And you go to that Championship Collections merch tab, and you get you those shirts, get you that gear today, showing that appreciation for Coach Saban, the University of Alabama, the student athletes, and us here at Touchdown Alabama Magazine. So, contrary to popular belief, Pete Golding was the one that went out there and got Henry Toto from the transfer portal. And I know people say, it was Pete Golding? Really? It was little Petey? It was little Peter Golding? Yes, Pete Golding was the one that went out there, did that recruiting, and got to Toto. So Pete Golding can recruit. He can recruit. Now, but the question is, how will this addition help him make that jump, right? Will it help him make that jump from being a good defensive play caller to maybe rising to be an elite, a big-time defensive play caller? And I feel like the one thing off the bat that the addition of Toto will do is it will help Golding become more aggressive. This will help Golding become more confident in getting some blitz packages in here, getting some pressure packages, having some tangos, some ringos, some stunts, some moves, some switch arounds, just getting some pressure to the quarterback consistently, because you're going to have these inside linebackers in To'oto and Christian Harris and Jagan Moody that can tear the field up, that can run sideline to sideline, that can shoot gaps, that can make tackles in space, that can cover. Like, you're going to have inside linebackers that can cover running backs on the wheel routes, different wide receivers, tight ends also. And when you have those inside backers that can cover, that can hit the field, that can make these types of plays, it gives you the freedom as a play caller to call those blitzes, call those stunts, get a little bit more aggressive, get a little bit more confident in second and long, third and long. Hey, I can dial up this blitz. I can dial up this play and have the confidence that, my guys are going to hit home out there on the field. So that's one thing, having that ability to be aggressive there for Pete Golding. I think another thing that this is going to help Golding out in is I feel like the Alabama defense was already going to be good, right? With Harris and Moody and Christopher Allen and Will Anderson and the guys in the secondary and the guys up front. We kind of had an idea. We knew off the jump that the defense was going to be good. But adding To'oto, this allows Coach Golding to think maybe we can go from being good to possibly a top 5, top 10 defense, right? Because the defense is normally, prior to the last couple of years, and even though the game has changed and you got to score with them, and you got to have the offense, the defense is, they've had guys to be able to get big stops when it mattered, right? And that's been the issue when Alabama was not winning championships in 2018, or national championships in 2018 and 19, is not being able to get those stops when they matter. And I feel like with To'oto, he's going to help Pete Golding in getting those stops when they matter. When you need an interception, when you need a forced fumble, when you need a fumble recovery, when you need a sack, when you need a 3 and out. Basically, when you need a drive where Nick Saban looks at Pete Golding and goes, I'm putting it on you, bruh. I'm putting it on you, PG. I'm putting it on you. Can we get a stop? Can we get a 3 and out against this type of a team, against this fastball type of opponent? Can we consistently get 3 and outs? And I feel like with the To'oto, he's going to look at Coach Golding and say, Coach, I got you. And they're going to be able to get on that field and consistently get those 3 and outs against fastball teams that want to try to pick you apart, against fastball teams that want to create favorable matchups to get you off balance, against fastball teams that want to have you concerned, worried, and discombobulated. I think having a To'oto, he will settle those nerves of Coach Golding, not discombobulated, not out of sorts, not over there, wild in left field. So, being able to get those stops and having the confidence to get those stops. And, just to me, this defense, already having guys like a Will Anderson, already having guys like a Christopher Allen, already having guys like a Christian Harris and a Jalen Moody, this just makes the entire linebacker room really, really dangerous under Pete Golding. Like, who is gonna want to come up against this when you already have the boomstick guys in a Christopher Allen who's coming back another year fully healthy after having 13 tackles for loss, which led the SEC last year in 6 sacks. When you got a Will Anderson of whom earned the nickname Terminator, fans are already just in love with what this young man is. 52 tackles a season ago, 10 of those for loss, had 7 sacks, 8 quarterback hurries, freshman of the year, according to the Football Writers Association. Just people love Will Anderson, and you got him. Then you got, a Christian Harris who can not only cover, stick his nose in the stuff to run, but he can also affect the passing game. Going back to 2 seasons at Alabama, 11 quarterback hurries, 4.5 sacks. So he's getting to the quarterback. And then you got a Jalen Moody who's making plays. Also, you add a To'oto to that list, of just fabulous linebackers. You are literally looking at opposing offenses going, what are we going to do? Who do we attack here? Do we attack Christian Harris? Do we attack Jalen Moody? Do we attack Will Anderson? Do we attack Christopher Allen? Do we attack Henry Toto? Who do we attack here and have success against? Very, very hard going up against this bunch, and I feel like adding this young man in to the puzzle that's already pretty formidable here, it's going to help Pete Golding take that next step in being a marquee coordinator, not just in the SEC, but in college football as a whole. But people, as always, you want the best in news, notes, information, and material here on your favorite program, that being the Crimson Tide. You can get this by accessing the Touchdown Alabama Magazine app. You can download the app from the iPhone App Store if you're rocking Team Apple, Google Play Store if you've got the Android phone. For your audio listening needs, we got you right here: iTunes or Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Spreaker, Overcast.fm, Google Play, TuneIn Radio, iHeartRadio. We got you covered. If the good and gracious Lord sees fit, I'll be back on Wednesday continuing the conversation that is Bama football. As always, Tide fans, you can purchase individual copies of Touchdown Alabama Magazine, have those sent to your door. That link will be found in the description. If you're also trying to be one of the first few people to copy the print edition, new edition of Touchdown Alabama Magazine that's coming soon, shipping soon, you go to touchdownalabama.com, you click join, become a member, a subscriber today. That link will be in the description. And if you're also trying to get that 4-finger bling necklace, 4-finger bling jewelry, courtesy of weownthefourthquarter.com, that link in the description as well. But until next time, folks, husbands love your wives. Wives appreciate, value those husbands. Children continue doing the right thing, the fun thing, the smart thing, the legitimate thing to not be bored. You get you those 3 hearty meals a day, those 3 great laughs a day. Protect yourself, protect the loved ones around you. Until next time, folks, it's been in my own words.